You know, up until the coronavirus, the millennial generation was the largest pandemic the world had ever seen. And the list of symptoms is longer than a walk to Mordor. If you have a useless college degree, live at home in your 30s, believe all wahmen, always have an excuse for your failures, and think Bernie Sanders actually has good ideas, I got bad news for you. You've caught the stupid, and it's probably terminal. Weh? Luckily, there's a cure. Pick up How Not to Become a Millennial, a salvation guide for Generation Z, and vaccinate yourself against the soy. A link is in the description.
What's up, you gimpy simps out there? Terrence Popp here, Redonkulous.com. And, as you have already rightfully guessed, Bad Popp showed up with bad news for the ladies. I don't care how thick your war paint is that you put on. I don't care how many injections you get or how many miles you run on the treadmill. Sooner or later, that wall defeats them all. You can take the scenic route if you have a medical navigator, but he's taking you to the same place, right into the wall. There's a lot of women out there who understand this fact, and a lot of them watch this channel. But the rest of them hate my ever-loving guts. And they spend a lot of their alone time lying to themselves and writing articles like this.
She doesn't have high standards. She just knows her worth.
Right.
Rule of thumb, ladies and gentlemen, if you ask a woman in her mid to late 30s why she's single, she certainly will not tell you the truth. Instead, she will weave a web of lies. And she will reinforce that web with a pack of excuses that need to die. And I made a whole episode about it. Here it is, check it out. And while you're watching that episode, pour yourself the menagerie and finish it. I expect you to be half in the bag before we come back to the rest of this episode. Cheers.
Yeah.
As soon as an immature man meets a real woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to get it, the first thought that comes to his mind is that this girl is overly demanding.
I can't do it. Space Ghost. This first sentence will tell you exactly what we're dealing with here. Immature man and real woman.
African American gentleman, please.
We already know right off the bat that this woman is not writing about a 21-year-old virgin who knows the value of a good man. Because those women are all married to good men and have started families. Nope, she's talking about all those rooster roller coaster riders who get off at the end of the platform and expect there to be all these good men waiting for them. I'm sorry, they got bumped off at the first hill. If you walk into a Bentley dealership, are you gonna pay full price for a rental car?
No.
But that is exactly what these single ladies in their 30s want you to do. If you're expecting someone to pay a premium for something that you gave away for free, well, that's just bad economics. That's not just overly demanding. It is stupid, if not flat out delusional. That takeout window between their legs has serviced more clients than In-N-Out Burger in California. Don't you hate it when you pull away from the takeout window and you realize there's extra cheese you didn't order and someone didn't flush their condiment packets, if you know what I mean?
He immediately becomes intimidated, fearing that he isn't good enough for her, and ends up accusing her of being too picky when it comes to men.
There's absolutely no part of that sentence that is true.
We're not intimidated by you. We just realize a bad investment when we see one. Speaking as a dude who drives the hell out of high mileage cars, now this is a metaphor, so stick with me. I go into it knowing these facts. It's probably gonna require more maintenance and upkeep. And if I want to keep that car and drive it for a while, I'm gonna probably have to do the work myself. At least my used car isn't gonna drive off and bang one of my buddies, or use my credit cards to buy a bunch of booze, bras, and bullshit. Did you hear a bleep there? Then you're not on BitChute Wham. Bottom line, baby, your time to be picky, was 15 years ago. Now you're a garage sale that wants retail prices for some furniture with some questionable stains on it, if you know what I mean. Sure, it'll work in a pinch and you can sit on it for 3 to 7 minutes, but you better have a hazmat suit on. And you gotta love it with these cheese-dripping sausage wallets when they claim the reason they're single is because they're too picky. Wah! You're not picky, you just don't like the leftovers. What can I say?
I don't understand why every guy in the city is so effing creepy.
I know, like, no thanks, I don't want to get raped tonight.
These women think they have all the time in the world, and they do, right up until the time that they don't. They spend 1 or 2 decades chasing the bad boys and keeping the good guys on the back burner. And by the time they get off the Rooster roller coaster, all that's left are the betas.
I'm sorry, did you see?
Accusing her of demanding too much and of being a spoiled brat who needs pampering and who waits for her Prince Charming to ride into her life on a white horse. However, the truth is quite different.
No, it's not. And just because you don't like it doesn't make it any less true. Because the truth is not an insult and reality is not an attack. And Prince Charming doesn't date sluts. Screen 5.
You see, when this girl loves you, she will move mountains for your sake.
Only if it's on her way to see her divorce attorney. Space Ghost.
She will do everything in her power just to make you smile and for you to be happy.
Up until the point she wishes to divorce you and take half your your pension, your house, car, and before you know it, you're living off the dollar menu at McDonald's because I've been there. And ladies, don't you dare say anything because 80% of all divorces filed by women, links in the description. Wham!
Nevertheless, there is one thing she'll never do for a man, no matter how deep her love for him is.
Give him a blowjob on his wedding night, huh? Screen 5. Isn't it funny how women develop this severe aversion to penis after they get inoculated with some wedding cake?
She will under no circumstances give you her entire self and put all of her effort into you without you giving anything back to her.
If rule number 1 is women will never tell you the truth of why they're single, this is rule number 2. Women want all the benefits of every single particular situation with none of the work. They want to have it all, but they don't want to pay the price. Make no mistake, when this woman says she'll give you all of herself, she's only talking about the pink pocket between her legs. She'll expect a lavish lifestyle that costs an assload of money. And yet, instead of working for that, she wants you at home every day. Western women, on average, have no understanding of economics whatsoever. How else would you explain bullshit like the wage gap and the pink tax? Wham! I'm not gonna beat around the bush, pun intended, but Western women expect shit for free simply because of, let me guess, vagina.
And it doesn't matter how broke you are, if you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10, truly. So being like, I'm broke, I can't afford to sub, that doesn't really track.
It's not my money, bitch!
Hey, don't call me bitch, I'm a grown man!
They're just sitting here masturbating as hard as they possibly can, as quietly as they can, because their parents are in the next room talking about how disappointed they are in them.
God, you're mean.
Because that's how it works for them. They think that's how it works, period. Just recently, a divorce judge in the UK awarded a woman a fairy tale settlement. Not only is the ex-husband on the hook for the usual bullshit like child support and alimony, he has to pay her wages for a job she never did. And that's after providing for his family over the past 10 years. Talk about getting something for nothing. Holy crap.
She won't be the only one trying while you are giving your minimum, while acting like you are the best man she could ever have the luck to meet.
Let's face it, he probably is, and you're gonna crumple him up and throw him away and wind up alone, which is something you richly deserve. I made a whole episode called Green Grass-itis and how it backfires every time. Here it is, check it out. You want to make your own deathbed and then refuse to lie in it. Well, that's not how it works. I've said it before and I'll say it again. 80% of divorces are filed by women. You want to know what happens after that? You know, when you're looking for your greener pastures, which turn out to be manure. 25% of Western women are on antidepressants. You've got women all over the world setting records for binge drinking and skyrocketing rates of middle-aged female suicide. And the ones that don't off themselves are complaining about living in poverty. I would point out that 80% of the homeless are men, but it's obvious you don't care.
With everyone stuck in their homes and Pornhub streaming to every television in the house. No? Just me? It's never been a more important time to protect your data, and the best way to do that is with the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your data from the evil prigs in Silicon Valley. You only see ads if you want to, and you're rewarded with cryptocurrency for your attention. Winning! Support Sandman and download Brave by clicking on the link in the description.
The last thing this girl is ready to do is waste years of her life waiting for some mama's boy to grow up and figure out what he wants from life.
You can use your demeaning and shaming language all you want. It's not going to help you climb over the wall. And when you write stuff like this, come on, we know what's going on. When you're talking about this girl, you really mean you. We all know who wasted years of their life, and it's not some hypothetical woman. You spent years trying to turn alphas into betas, and when it didn't work, you called them a bunch of mama's boys. Despite the fact that any one of those dudes could call you right now and you would show up lickety-split in your war paint and me pumps. And 3 to 7 minutes later, after you get your direct deposit and he skedaddles and sends you on your way, you're gonna cry about where all the good men are at. These women swear on a stack of Bibles that they want a beta male, but we all know that's bullshit. They don't want us to know what truly gets their motor running because that would make them, what's the word?
Sluts.
Before you accuse me of slut shaming, I f***ing love sluts. No pun intended, edit that out. No. I will give a slut the best 7 to 10 minutes of my time.
She won't sit around patiently waiting for you to come to your senses and finally get your shit together.
This whole article is one feminist lie after another, and they're coming in predictable order. Next thing you know, she's going to be talking about refusing to lower her standards for anybody.
This is the woman who won't lower her standards for any man, no matter how crazy she might be for him.
There you go! 3 points for the popster.
Yes, she will appreciate everything you are doing for her, but she will never praise you for giving her less than she deserves.
And that right there is your problem. Not that you have just one or anything.
99 problems and a bitch ain't one. I got 99.
You think you deserve everything that you want, even though you're not willing to work for it. And we know this is how Western women think. And I did a whole episode about it, links in the description.
When people ask me, what do I bring to the table? I say, I am the table.
These ladies, female breeding dogs think just because they exist, they're entitled to everything that they want. They believe that having a vagina has intrinsic value.
What that means is a woman simply is worthy, and that has nothing to do with how many degrees she has.
And every man should do cheetah flips for the privilege of having access to it. But only if he's 6 feet tall, has a 6-inch penis, and a 6-figure income.
I want to settle down one day, but at this point, you gotta have the ching-ching.
And the only thing you're good for in their eyes is picking up the check.
So if you plan on knocking this lady off her feet just because you have the decency to text her from time to time, or by buying her flowers just because it is a special occasion and you know something like that is expected of you, think again.
That was incredibly condescending.
If you think that not cheating on her and not being abusive will make you the best boyfriend material, it's time for you to reevaluate your worldviews.
So let me get this straight. Everything that women have been telling men for hundreds of years, it's all been a lie? Everything that you claim that you want, you really don't? And these are women who claim they know exactly what they want. And yet, not a single one of them seems to be happy or in a relationship. And other women who are just as unhappy go to these women for advice. Welcome to Bizarro World, where garbage is money, up is down, and everything a woman wants is a lie.
What you need to be aware of is that things like faithfulness, loyalty, and effort are expected in a normal relationship, and they are not a part of any special treatment.
Well, let's take a look at the reality on the ground, shall we? Most of the people in relationships admit to cheating, and most of those cheaters are women. I hate to say it, but being faithful and loyal in a relationship is fairly rare. So when you minimize how rare and important that is, you're actually coming off like a spoiled biatcha.
I know that modern dating has tried to convince you that you are the best guy ever just because you agree to put a label on your relationship, or because you don't go around screwing every female who gives you a chance while you have a girlfriend patiently waiting for you at home. But none of these things makes you special. They are required, and they just make you a normal boyfriend.
That you cheat on, Screen 5. And it's this thinking right here that's gonna take you right down the trail to OPAF. And that means old, poor, powerless, fat, and forgotten. In another 10 years, your friends who are happily married are going to have kids who are graduating from high school. And you're going to be adding on your 10th cat. And your single bedroom studio is going to smell like fish bad decisions and unchanged kitty litter. And when you actually score a date, please put on your best perfume. Desperation.
Trust me, this girl won't appreciate you coming back to her after dumping her, being thankful that she has you one way or another.
Now listen, I'm not going to tell you dudes don't do this. In fact, I made a whole episode about it. Here it is, check it out. But the older we get, more likely it's women that do this. Dudes, they start dating younger. And why is that? Because we can.
She won't praise you the moment you show her a little bit of your attention or when you give her breadcrumbs of your love, thinking they are more than enough.
You taste that? That's your own medicine. How do you like them apples, you biatcha? How many dudes out there have found themselves in a relationship where the sex is hand over fist, she cooks, she cleans, she compliments, she's attentive, and then all of a sudden, boom,
it stops.
They do that so you will miss it. And then they treat you like a dog wanting his treat and fighting to get it back. I made a whole episode about this called Man-ipulation. Links in the description. So Selma, do yourself a favor and shut your coaster and leave the thinking up to somebody else because you suck at it.
This doesn't make her ungrateful or spoiled. It just means that she doesn't want to settle for anything less than she is giving.
Okay, I got a question for you. What is less than
nothing?
And what would you call somebody who expects everything and provides nothing? I would call them an ungrateful, spoiled, entitled cunt. Sounds refreshing, but it really isn't.
Instead, it only means that she is very well aware of her worth and that she doesn't want to be with a man who doesn't see it or who will try to diminish it.
If you were aware of what you were worth in your 20s, we wouldn't be here right now. It is no one's fault but your own. You drank the feminist Kool-Aid and believed all of the lies. And now you're hitting the wall and you're slowly realizing everything that you were promised
was bullshit.
Instead of sucking it up and admitting that it's your fault, you're gonna blame everyone else.
The problem is not me, it's them.
You took what you were worth in your 20s and squandered it on everyone in your area code with a Y chromosome and a good pickup line. Now you're in your 30s and refusing to take responsibility. It can't be my fault, there's just no good men left.
It means that she isn't scared of being alone and that she would always rather stay single than be with someone who doesn't fit her standards and doesn't see and appreciate her worth.
In another 5 years, you're going to be eating those words along with a gallon of Rocky Road ice cream every day. Because the man that you are probably going to wind up with is not the man that you want. Even if you found a good dude, you would get bored, cheat on him, and then divorce rape him in his ass. And it would be all fun and games through the pump and dump years. That is until the alimony checks stop. And then you'll wind up in poverty and have something real to bitch about.
Pop, don't let it go. X gon' give it to you. He gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you.
So if you are not a man who can give her everything she needs, be wise enough to walk away from this girl in time.
They already have, in droves. In fact, a couple of them were trampled to death on the way out. That's why you're writing this article. They're like, all trying to run through one door and a couple guys died. Yeah. The men that you can have, you don't want. And the ones that you want, they're out of your league and they're dating women 10 years younger than you.
Don't even try manipulating her into thinking that you are someone you are not, because she will see right through you.
Bullshit! Rule number 3, women love to be lied to, as long as it's something they want to hear.
Don't try playing her because she will beat you in your own game.
Only in divorce court, because in the long game, your ass is going to lose every time.
However, if you think you have what it takes to be her life partner, prepare yourself, because you are about to experience a love you've never experienced before. The type of love which only a strong woman like her can give you.
Oh my God! Now, if I didn't know any better, I would say that this chick and Shamey Warts on the Stick were the same person. Go back and watch the episode, Marry Me Before It's Too Late, and compare the last 2 paragraphs.
She'll give you more joy than you ever thought possible. Make sure you never take her for granted, and you'll bask in the precious happiness of a feminist partnership.
These articles are practically identical, and you want to know why? Because Western women, they have a hive mind. It's kind of like dating the Borg.
Are you familiar with physical forms of pleasure?
And when you think about it, feminism and the Borg have that one thing in common. They either assimilate you and you think like them, or they destroy you because you're independent. Now, I wish I could ignore articles like this, gentlemen. I really do. But you know how it goes. Same old different day. Piles get bigger, shovels get smaller, and the bags are never big enough, Space Ghost. He's immature because when she opens her mouth, he realizes, like, holy shit, this woman's just way too much effort. It's not worth it. I'm out. I know there's some angry single mother out there. This guy's such an asshole. And she's mad at me for telling other guys, hey, you know, this is what you look for. If this is what's going on, leave it. And she's like mad because an alpha male knows his worth. He knows how to say no. He guards his resources. And he does not worried about kicking her to the curb because he'll get another one just like her.